So back in 1916 when our tipuna Kraua the Crown had actually come in to arrest him. There was over 1,000 people, The community was thriving, it was well established, it had its own bank, it had its own governing structure. People talk about what's mana motuhake, and it's like for the people to be able to live together and to live off their land or live with their land, then the Crown just didn't like that, that there was the people in the middle of the forest who were doing things on their own. Who's going to do it? Come on, here. So the boys are just opening up one of our possum traps that we have. We have about 50 traps, and they've got a line in here. And we'll see how it goes, whether or not we're going to catch something for tomorrow. Kia ora, ko Atamira Tumarae nuku toku ingoa. No konei, no ruatāhuna, no mauna pōhatsu, no te uruwera. I tēnei wā, ko hoki mai ahau me taku whānau ki konei ki ruatāhuna, ko au, taku hua ranatira, mea māua tama e toru, e noho tahi I te taha o tā mātou kraua. Koinei te wāhi I tipu ake au ki konei ki ruatāhuna. Karore haere I ngā rori, kuhu atu ki te nahere, e mērā momo mahi.
Hello, I'm Tate and I am from Wellington. I have just opened my own cafe in town. Well, at the moment we're in Te Aro Park, which is the park just outside my cafe. And what we're doing at the moment is we're trying to make trapping accessible to urban dwellers. And the way we're doing that is by introducing microlines in the CBD and in parks and walkways where we can put these traps to make it so that public can, if they want to express interest in checking these traps, they can do. Me and a couple of mates started up a group called Trap Lords, just around conservation and how we can kind of engage and educate people to get involved with conservation. I was really privileged to grow up in a place like Situ. We got brought up in the outdoors, exploring the beaches and going for walks around the coastline and playing tag and all that stuff. Me and my two mates would be hanging out, every week, going for walks around the bays and stuff, and then we would be talking a lot about how the coastline's been deteriorating. We were talking about it for months and months, and then we were getting sick of the chat, so we decided to actually try and figure something out about how we could contribute towards it and get something going. And so that's when we came up with the idea of trying to get young people involved with conservation.
Yeah, I'm off to Te Urewera to go and meet up with a local there, Atamira, to talk about kind of the different ways that we're doing conservation in New Zealand. I'm interested in the kind of the Māori view of the environment because it's really good to bring that back into kind of what we're doing down in Wellington.
Kia ora.
Tate.
Atamira, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, nice to meet you.
no mai whakatau mai, welcome. Welcome Tate to, this is my marae,
Oh, cool.
Mauna Pohatu. Ko Mauna Pohatu te mauna. So the mountain there behind the mist and the clouds
Yeah.
is our mountain. For me, it's being able to connect our young people, our youth, back to the forest and to connect them with the importance of our role as kaitiaki, our role as stewards for our land. Did you see this, Tate?
Yeah, I've read it before.
Yeah. So this is the wharenui here. This whare is around about over here.
True. So what happened to all the buildings? Like, what happened to that?
So they took this down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that word that you were saying just before? Mana.
Oh, mana motuhake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, mana motuhake, to me anyway, it's that overall the well-being of our people and our land.
And the environment's
Yeah.
kind of a major.
Yeah, and the environment is just as important as our economic development opportunities.
Do you think it's the responsibility of kind of everyone to do their bit to help with the environment?
Yeah, it is, and it's that connection though, you know, like what happened with our lands when they were confiscated and taken, and
Yeah.
the impacts for people now, like 150 years later, are so huge. It's like, I guess it's like taking a child away from their parent, you know, like, or taking us away from our environment, our whenua, our land. For me, kaitiakitanga is like my children, you know, how I need to look after my children. I need to love them, care for them, protect them and keep them safe. Well, the same principles apply for the whenua. You know, we need for the land and the forest. Globally and nationally, the lack of attention and care towards our environment it's quite shameful.
A big thing for us is being able to kind of self-sustain ourselves and not have to rely on other people for us to kind of do our conservation work.
I guess that's a part of mana motuhake as well, you know, for me, that in a way that you'd prefer to, like ourselves, we'd prefer for ourselves to be able to just do the work and not be reliant on anybody else to give us funds to do it, but actually find solutions ourselves. What are your overall aspirations for the work that you're doing in conservation?
I think for me, the work was initially to, you know, restore the area around where I live, which is going well, but then we'll, you know, looking further into it, trying to kind of get as much public engagement as possible, because from where I'm down in Wellington, you know, it's very urban, so there's a lot of people that aren't really aware. Just I feel like there was a kind of a generational gap of engagement with conservation, and, you know, people my age kind of have been missed out.
I can't go past the whole well-being of the people and the land, and that relationship between the two, and having that that strengthened or that strong connection for our people, you know, for our people from here, from Mauna Pohatu, from Te Urewera. That connection, you know, that tells us who we are, our identity, and that being strong in the next generations.
It's way nicer waking up to a bird song in the morning than nothing, I guess.
Ko te whenua, te toto o te tanata. The land is the blood of the people, and without the land, we will not survive.